There we go. What's up, everybody? We're live. Nobody's on yet. Sound check. Anyone? Comments will appear. Not yet. 5 people. Kurt, what's up? All right, if someone can just do a quick sound check for us, make sure you can hear us all right. Bill, how are you? 13. Sound is good. Master Spas. Yeah. All right. What? Mike Wright's on there first.
Hey.
What? Actually, I need to call you. We got Sue. Where's everybody from? What do we got going on here? Sean, how are you? Jay, what's up? All right, perfect. All right, very good. Sound is good. Dave, thank you. All right, Richard Markovich. Wow, Richard and Mike on there early. That's not something that happens very often. All right, Mama. All right, Beth. Hello. All right. Okay.
We're back in our warehouse in our Challenger 15 H2X Challenger 15 deep.
I'll spin this around. There you go. Now it's on you.
And we are going to talk about effective equipment for water exercise. I'm trying to leave my hand dry, but I don't think it's going to last too long.
It's not going to work. Just make them warm.
So we're going to just kind of highlight some of the equipment that we have.
Oh, hey, Mary. Beth here says that she's from Connecticut. Thank you.
Hi, Beth from Connecticut. But yeah, we're going to talk about some equipment that we have, some equipment that we've seen, some that we think is awesome, and maybe talk about some that we think is not as awesome. And then answer any of your questions.
I'm laughing. I'm just. Usually you don't say stuff like that. I say stuff like that. Can you make it louder, please? The microphone.
Really.
The microphone is. It's probably on your end. You got to make it louder. All right. All right. So let's see. Spa City. Get everybody here. All right. All right. We got 50 people on here. I think we're ready to rock.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing that we do want to say is that the H2X exercise book that comes in your kit when you get a swim spa is actually a really great resource for how to use the equipment in the swim spa that comes with your kit, and just some really great exercises that we often refer to when someone asks us for a good exercise, or when we're doing actual resistance exercises in our swim spa. We use that book, pretty regularly for that. And
I mean, there's so much in it.
There is so much for all levels of activity in the swim spa. So some really great beginner exercises to some good intermediate ones, and then all the way to advanced. So it's a great resource. We realize not everyone likes to go and read, but it's easy to follow, and there are some really great suggestions. So,
Absolutely.
So we kind of just are going to highlight some of the equipment again that we have, some fun stuff that we actually found like on Amazon, and that is cool to use in the swim spa, and just talk about how you can use it for good aquatic exercise.
All right. So I would like to add a couple of notes. The H2 exercise book is called the H2 exercise book. It's very tricky and crafty. It's clever. However, it is very important that you not drop it inside the swim spa, because it will go in a million pieces immediately.
Yes, it is unusable, and my poor dad was dropped one.
Pops dropped one in our swim spa.
Thank you to Susan. She replaced
sent another one out immediately. And we actually, there's so much in it, and we do this. There's so much in it that we refer to it often. So I can't stress enough how powerful a resource it is. You're absolutely right. And it's always right there. And there's always something that you didn't notice or that you forgot about. So always go back in there when you're looking. And we are working on some new exercise toys. We are working on videos coming down in the future. We just need to, it's always been like this ever since we've been here, there's always seems to be more work than there is time to get to, and that now is no different for sure. But I saw someone on there that ordered a Challenger 18. Awesome, absolutely awesome. Yeah. Someone else commented that they just mainly swim in their Challenger 15, which is absolutely awesome. You know, I'll tell you, until that was almost 2 years ago in Kona, I know I've talked about it before, I tore my bicep, and that was when I started. That was in 2019. I did more exercise in here after that than ever before because I really needed to, and I needed to rehab that, and it worked beautifully. Okay, so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you guys some of the equipment. I'm gonna turn this around.
And I do want to say that yes, the swim spas are really great for swimming, and the majority of people are doing that, and they're great for walking against the current, which is walking or running against the current in place. It's kind of like a march or a butt kick. When you're running in place, and then you have the equipment for doing some other exercises. Some questions that we get a lot, and I'm going to kind of spit them to you, Ben, and you can answer. But and some questions that we get a lot about equipment that we don't really love are like the treadmill. Oh yeah. And the bike.
You know, I have mixed feelings on the bike.
Right.
You know how I feel about it, but well, go ahead and talk about the treadmill. Go ahead.
So we don't love the treadmill. And you can certainly get one if that's something that you like. It's an expensive accessory for sure. But you're putting mechanics under the water, and water just always wins, like Ben says.
Never loses a fight.
Yeah. And so it takes up a lot of space, so you're not really able to do other things in the swim spa, which is also a reason the bike is not so great. But
right.
The treadmill takes up a lot of space, and it's clunky. It's not really smooth, and you can get a better, lower impact exercise by running or walking against the current without having to spend all that money for that accessory. So it requires maintenance and lubing, and just it's kind of cumbersome and not really that great under the water. So it's not, when people ask us, like our customers ask us, we typically wouldn't recommend it, and we would highly recommend walking or running in place against the current, just right in the swim spa.
Right, so. For sure. So, okay, so my take on the bike, the main thing is that they definitely get in the way of doing all the other things, and if it's in the bottom, it's going to mess up where your footing and all that. But the bicycle, I actually like the way that the bicycle works. The problem with it is that when you put it, it's made of stainless steel, and it's got a bunch of holes drilled in it, and then you put it in the water, and it's relatively light when you're putting it in, but when it fills up with water, it weighs 1,000 pounds. So one person, you're not taking it out of there by yourself, and if you do, it's certainly not easy. I'm a fairly strong guy, and I struggled to get that thing out of the water when I tried it. But that said, I do actually like the way it works. It is absolutely going to get in the way of everything else that you do.
It would be the only thing really that you'd be able to do.
I mean, you couldn't even float in floats. It's in the way. You can't even play in the swim spa. And forget all the exercise parts. It's just in the way. Okay, so those things they're just, it's a swim spa. Use the water for what it's for. The treadmill is just not something that we feel is fully necessary, or the bike. As much as I do like the bike, it's just in the way. Also, I can achieve my marathon heart rate by running in place on the soft tread with no shoes on. So why would I do that anyway? So it's just one more thing to break.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do is let's start going right down the line with, actually grab this one. This one's new to us. So this one here is a barbell. And when we saw that, we had to try it. All right.
And this, we just found it on Amazon. So we don't get any, we're not like sponsored or anything like that. It was just something we found. We thought it looked cool, and we wanted to try it and maybe do some exercises with it. So it is a barbell that has water paddles on the end, so it really is going to give great resistance for bicep curls, tricep pushdowns, which is what I'm doing right now. So just
Some light chest presses in the water,
like
front raises. I mean, you can do everything in it with it. It's pretty neat. I like it. I mean,
yeah, front raises would be neat.
Yeah, front raises are neat.
For shoulders. Actually, you get both coming up
And going down. Right.
And then there was some, I saw in the little thing that came with it that you can do like some.
Just compared to the dumbbells,
Yeah, the
it's just one of
dumbbells
those
are better
things.
for the
The fact of the matter is that we're trying, and Mary's going to talk about some new things that we've seen that we have not tried yet. But the fact of the matter is that our tried and true kit is really quite perfect.
Yeah.
Although the barbell looks really neat, I'm not sure it's nearly as versatile as dumbbells.
Yep. And
So.
we know that some kits don't have the barbells.
Dumbbells?
The dumbbells.
Yep. You want me to
So,
take that?
This
I'll
kit that we got with the barbells, with the barbell, came with some pretty decent dumbbells. So you can order these again
Now,
on Amazon.
you can just keep it right there. See, when in one of these, the design here, you've got the YMCA has the little floaty dumbbells, but this is designed to catch the water. So when you're pulling this through the water, the water is the resistance, and the dumbbell's not designed to be heavy. It's designed to catch water, and the faster you move it, the harder it is. So I actually haven't tried those ones yet. Do you like them?
Yeah.
They catch enough water?
Yeah, it's
Grab one of ours.
not quite as
Actually,
as much
grab
resistance.
one of each in each hand.
It's not quite as much resistance as these.
So I'm sort of curious, because these ones I think they're perfect, and I don't say
these
that.
are
I don't
great.
say that very often. I think they're perfect. So take one of each and see if you can tell us about the difference you feel. So just do some simple curls. Can't really see you under the water.
Just basically doing
Yep.
bicep curls. But so my left is the
Yep.
the Amazon one, but it's definitely there is resistance. This one has more resistance, and what's interesting, I actually feel like when I go back down, this one actually has more resistance than this one. Coming up, it's not quite like it. Definitely,
Interesting.
this one is heavier, or just more resistance. But it's actually, I feel it even more so going down, back down. So this one is definitely lighter.
Yep.
Not pulling as much water, I would say. But as an alternative, it's really not bad.
Right. Absolutely.
And
Well, the concern was that in the shortage, all the shortages, the dumbbells, were not in there, and we'll figure that out.
But definitely more resistance
Yeah.
with the H2X though.
But I really like the dumbbells. They do a fantastic job, and there's so many exercises you can do. And of course, we're talking about all the stuff that you can carry out, but you always have, all of the rowing kit. You want to show the ankle weights? I like those.
Yep, and these just have they Velcro around your ankle, and so they're really good for
So what I like about those is all of the mobility exercises, the leg raises to the side, to the front, to the rear. When you have those on, they're going to be way harder. And it's just really, it's good for you to do them in the water with nothing, depending on your fitness level. Yeah, that's going to be tough to do under the water. But I really like those for adding, resistance to those exercises. And
One thing that I realized that we didn't include, we just don't have one here, is pool noodles, which can be used for some exercises too, but we just don't have one.
we have them. Beth was noodle bicycling.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep, it was great. We did it. It was.
It must have been fun.
It was fun. Laughs were had by all.
Oh, I'm sure. So yeah, I like this actually. This ankle
Yeah, so here, stand, hands on your hips, and then lock that knee straight, and then lift, pivot at the hip, straight up in the air, straight in front of you. I don't care, do more, go.
Yeah.
Now that is an amazing exercise for all those very odd muscles those are the ones we're targeting. This is the stuff that we're talking about that just cannot be done at the same
down,
way.
But then also to the side.
To the side, yep.
Is good. And even if you were to hold on here and
You can hold on.
to the back, and coming forward that one is good too.
That's good.
So neat.
I'm gonna spin this around for a second.
The ankle fin.
So one of the things that Mary's parents do in here is lots of mobility, lower leg strengthening, and this is the type of stuff. This next one is one of my here. That's a kickboard. Is one of my.
So I've never tried this.
My dad
this is
can awesome.
do it, but I've never done it. So I'm hoping I can do it.
Okay, so you have to put your foot in the middle of it. If it comes shooting out of there, you are fired.
I know.
So what you have to do, you're not big enough to hold it down.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
So try to get it to the floor,
Yep.
and then you're on the floor.
Yes.
Okay, so other foot is obviously not on top of it.
No,
Now you're bringing it up.
Up.
Now if you can see, she's lifting her knee with that kickboard on there, and
it stays
but
on
it's
your
wiggly
foot.
though.
It is.
The wiggliness is what's
Yeah.
working.
And it's definitely good for stability.
I love this exercise, and your father reminded me about it again. Okay, where did we get that kickboard, Mare?
It's just Amazon.
Yep.
I have to say that Amazon is great for everything we know, but they do have some really neat equipment that can be used in a pool or a swim spa. Kim from Master Spas, our friend, she recommended a underwater punching bag.
I have to try this. I have to see it.
So it's actually portable. So you fill it. The one that she showed me, you fill it with water, and it's 6 gallons of water, and there's all different exercises that you can do with this punching bag under the water. You can punch it, you can kick it, you can push it and pull it under the water, and it's good for pools or swim spas. And then she also mentioned this underwater trampoline, which in my research and trying to find one, it's hard to find. There aren't any readily available right now, and they're expensive. So
Like how much?
like the one that I saw, you couldn't get it, but it was like $1,300.
I feel like that's sort of excessive.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right? It's just it's
But
a number I can't get my mind around.
That, like, you have those like kiddie ones, like the little Tykes ones, but they
Oh.
but those aren't really made for water, so I think that's where the expense comes, because they're not they're waterproof. But I didn't find one that was easily available. So
Okay.
but that is another option.
I spun that around. Okay, so these are all the pieces of equipment, and of course I brought these over here. I didn't even show them. These are the ankle straps that come with our kit. There's 2 of them, and lots of bands. So the bands have handles you can attach. I'm dropping stuff here.
And we also have the row bars.
And the row bar,
rowing
right? The row bars. I did show
in
those.
the swim spa.
So these are our favorite exercises. The whole thing is, you guys, that where this gets tricky is when a lot of people go to water in the rehab because they have an injury or they're trying to stay injury free. So you just need to make sure that you're doing the right things, and that's where we do have customers that have their trainers come to the house and teach them in their house what to do, and that is something that you could do. You can also try to find as many videos as you can. We will have videos in the future, but where it comes, and even when these videos are produced, if you have specific needs, you can reach out to us, individually with a specific question. Just keep in mind that they're going to be more, what's the word? Generic. Yeah, generic based, because we have to. Whereas if you're needing something specific, You know, don't be afraid to pay for a couple of sessions with a professional. Have them come to your house and design an amazing program. These
Or
people
even,
are out there.
You know, even if you talk, like if you're going to physical therapy.
Oh yeah.
Or something like that. A lot of physical theripists
Love the water.
Would love to know that you had a swim spa and can give
Absolutely.
you specific exercises that you can do in your swim spa for rehab or, you know, specific recovery. So definitely, I know we have one question that's very specific about exercises for, I think, like a herniated disc or something, but that's definitely, if you have a specific injury, we definitely would recommend telling your orthopedic doctor or your physical therapist that you have a swim spa at your leisure, and they would be more than happy to give you exercises to do in there.
Right. I mean, we shouldn't even answer that question.
Right.
You know, if someone has an injury like that, we shouldn't even answer that question.
That was going to be my response. Just
okay. Yeah, we really can't do that because there's so many factors in place.
Sure.
If you have that injury, you're definitely going to be consulting a doctor and, you know, working with a physical therapist, and you need to get that from them because they're going to basically prescribe it as therapy. Okay. And it's not something where we have a general idea of what they're going to want to do. And, you know, there's no real danger in the water because the water is the equalizer. So that's fantastic that you have that ability. But that information, you know, something so specific for a serious injury like that, we'd like to see you go through your doctor and go through your physical therapist for sure. You agree?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Yep.
So what I like to do is that with all of these exercise, you know, components, what I really like to do is an interval type workout where you're running in place, where you're running in place for 2 minutes and then doing curls and, you know, rowing, hitting the row for 2 minutes, and then back to swimming and change the strokes up. Sorry, I'm cutting you out of the camera there. So I love those types of workout programs in the water. And when you're done, you feel great and you don't feel like you're taxed. Like, for example, we went to the gym this morning, and, you know, as we were getting in here, I'm sitting there, you know, stretching my shoulder. I mean, I beat on my body, and then coming in here feels amazing. So if something like that happens and I'm beat up, I'll actually come in here and do rehab exercises, all the same exercises, but it's so gentle. It's flowing blood in a way that's not harmful, and then I'll actually get out feeling better, and I'll use that for rehab and my own therapy. Okay, so the material connecting resistance to the bar, how do I get this replaced? Larry, I don't know, customer service?
Or your dealer can probably help you out with that.
Dealer or customer service. Certainly customer service can tell you where to go. Probably your dealer though. Okay, so then these are our favorite exercises. Those of you guys who know us, like an underwater trampoline, whether it was inexpensive or not, I'm probably not going to be that big a fan. I might want to try it for sure, but you know, I'm not really into gimmicks. I don't know. Maybe that's not a gimmick. Maybe that's a strong word. I don't know. To me, it's a gimmick. I'm sort of old school. You know, I like to do the work. So, you know, all of this stuff, this is real, and there's so many exercises. There's so many capabilities here. I just don't think that any of that stuff is really necessary, although I'm sort of intrigued to try the underwater punching bag. As soon as we get our hands on one, you will have it on a live, for sure. Kickboxing is very popular these days, going to kickboxing classes, those types of things, whether you do them at home by yourself with videos or whether you're going to classes that are led by instructors. So there's a lot of, I think that's pretty neat. And then the idea of kicking underwater is compelling because, you know, when you kick really, really hard, there's, you know, you can get injury. Like, for example, if you know any lifelong martial artists, they almost always have bad knees and hips. You know,
our neighbor right there is a lifelong martial artist, always complaining about.
Yeah, I mean, he's in amazing shape.
Really is,
but there's a lot of pressure, and these guys are very strong and they're explosive. So when they do that, there's risk of injury, especially as we age. So in the water, you negate that, and then to have a kick bag or a punching bag under the water, that's compelling to me. I'd like to try that. I'd like to try that one. So that's a little different.
Kim, send it our way.
Yeah, Kim, hook us up. I guess the part that I wouldn't, if it was all splashy, that might start to be annoying, especially if other people were around.
Yeah.
So, but these are our favorite exercises, And ultimately, the regular kit is my very favorite. Those dumbbells alone, the dumbbells, the rowing kit, and the bands, and a kickboard is all you need. Okay, so those are the primary things, and that obviously has nothing to do with running in place or swimming.
One thing I just want to say is, so you all know, and Ben has mentioned a couple times today, my parents are
Awesome.
older. Oh no, they are awesome. And my mom especially, she's got some arthritis, and she's got just aches and pains from age and
Little spinal stenosis.
yeah, but she's been having some trouble with her arm, and I think that they determined that it might be like arthritis or something. But she was using the dumbbells, and it was bothering her, and she, she still wants to maintain being fit and doing, with the exercises in here. And I just recommended just your regular body weight.
Sure.
Under the water. So if as a beginner, or if you've got some pains and some aches, which we all do, but if you experience any difficulty in using some of the equipment, you can just use your body,
your hands alone.
Your
hands
your
just
arms.
like this.
Yeah, and I mean, there's enough resistance there to give you some really good.
Talk about what Anthony said with his hands with swimming,
yes,
because of
yeah.
how much resistance there is.
Right.
Explain that.
So one of our friends has a swim spot. Actually, we've done a video there in the Challenger 19 deep. And but anyway, he's having some shoulder issues.
Martial artist.
And but he still wants to swim in the swim spot, and so he said he realizes that it's incorrect form, but that he's been swimming in the swim spot with his opening his fingers, and that it's a lot more resistance, almost as if you have paddles on.
Right.
If you think about when you wear paddles when you're swimming, and that extra, it's just more surface area across the water
To grab water,
going
yeah.
to, actually be harder, and it's going to be.
I thought that was interesting. It was a good
Yeah.
idea where he actually opens his fingers to reduce the amount of resistance so that his shoulder doesn't hurt.
Right.
That's
versus
pretty interesting.
Keeping that
Yeah.
closed,
Which is that's
normal.
what's supposed to be
Right.
happening. He's doing this on purpose
And
to
it's
reduce.
reducing some of the resistance on his
And for those of you swimmers out there, it probably feels something like the closed fist drills that all swimmers have done.
Sure.
Or should have done.
Yeah.
All right.
So we've got some questions that
what do we got?
came up.
You want to sit there? You want me to put this on the tripod?
Oh, doesn't matter. Oh, this is a non-exercise related question.
I'll turn it. I'm gonna hang on.
Okay.
Sorry. Oop. I just dropped that. There we
We are installing Trainer 15 deep with one side against our deck. Will the electrician need access to that side? This is from Richard in Maryland. So, Richard, the electrical gets hooked up behind the hot tub seat, so behind this panel here. So the electrician can come in from any side, and it gets hooked up on the short side behind, or the short end behind the hot tub seats. So if you have one long side against the deck, then you should be fine. It wasn't clear exactly which side was against the deck, so as long as this side behind the hot tub seats is open, then you're good. All right.
My turn?
Yes.
All right. So we've got Sandra in Indiana. Is that an I? That's an I.
Yes.
Indiana. This is a good question. Does a swim spot, they always go back to install questions.
Yeah.
The exercise questions don't last long, then we're right back on install. So does a swim spot create enough moisture to warrant an exhaust fan? All right. So here's the thing. That's sort of it's a tricky answer to that question. So exhaust and removing moisture from the air are not exactly the same thing. An exhaust fan is just removing heat and air and circulating air. It's not necessarily removing moisture from the air, okay? So for example, if you have, when the covers are closed in a swim spa, they don't give off any moisture into the room, so you don't need to run anything. Our covers seal, and this is inside, and we don't have any issues at all. I mean, at all, and it's been a while.
Yeah.
So an exhaust fan's not really going to do anything in the way that you want it to, like a shower, because it, you know, in a small bathroom that has an exhaust fan, it doesn't necessarily, you know, stop mildew from taking place around the ceiling, around the top of that shower, and it's because it's not really removing the moisture. All right, it's just it's circulating air entirely, and whether there's a little bit of moisture in there, maybe, but it's not really extracting the moisture out like a dehumidification system would or an HVAC system would. So on an inside install, if you have a dehumidifier, that's probably enough, like a portable dehumidifier. We used to run that in the gym. We had, what was that room, 40 feet? No.
I don't know. No.
It
It
was
had to
20.
be like 25 feet.
It was
maybe?
24. There was 2 feet. So it was
Yeah.
24 by maybe 20. And we had a swim spot wedged in there. And when we opened the covers, we used to run a portable dehumidifier. If we didn't run that dehumidifier, the windows around the corner on the front would steam up. And that was the moisture. They would actually start to fog. But if we ran that portable dehumidifier, it didn't happen. So it worked really well. The other thing you can do is, of course, an air conditioning system which removes heat and moisture out of the air. We have a dealer who is very good with complex construction jobs, and this is something that I had never really considered. What he likes to do on an inside install, and they've done a lot, I'm talking about Crocker.
Yeah.
He is probably one of the most technically savvy dealers there are. He likes to run a mini split. A mini split is a very simple addition for HVAC in a room. Let's say you were adding on for a swim spa, you run a mini split, you have heat, you have cool, and it can take care of all that moisture when it's on, okay? So that's one way you could go. Maybe a combination of a dehumidifier portable, you don't need anything crazy, and then maybe a mini split, all right? And that'll take care of that. But an exhaust fan's probably not gonna do it, and except that when the covers are closed, it doesn't give off any. So I don't know if I would head in the direction of an exhaust fan. Sorry that was so long.
No, that's all right.
Okay, your turn.
So this is from Sandy in Manitoba, and she says, what are ideal temp settings for winter or summer use? And she realizes it is a personal preference, but just an idea of where to start. So it's such a hard question to answer because it really depends on, it does depend on personal preference, and it kind of depends on what you're doing in the swim spa. So if you're swimming and you're swimming aggressively in the summer, you are going to want to keep it a little bit cooler, but it also kind of depends on, you know, what you like to swim in, so and how your body reacts. So most people, I would say, would prefer probably to keep it down, like lower 80s. If they're swimming, especially if you're swimming a little bit more aggressively and it's really warm outside, you don't want to get overheated because you're actually sweating a lot in the water even though you don't feel it. And then if you're in the winter time and you are swimming, obviously you're going to want to keep it a little bit warmer. But again, that's just, you know, maybe 90, maybe even, you know, 92, depending on how cold it is. You know, it is Manitoba, so just it kind of depends on what you're doing in the swim spa. I mean, if you're just sitting in there and relaxing, then please turn it up warm. I would love it to be warm.
Ours is pretty warm.
Yeah, but if you are exercising, just keep in mind that you don't want to keep it too hot to be overheated. And then I think Ben, maybe this is a good segue to a question that he has about what's a good temperature for exercising in the swim spa, maybe doing some other exercises other than swimming.
Okay. So
maybe that's a good segue to you.
It is. All right, this is from Brian in Washington. What is the optimal temp for workouts? So a little, you know, to really fully specifically answer you, I need to know what you're doing. But for me, here's some things. Your swimmers are going to be cranking out fast. They're going to be in the 70s. It's going to be terrible. When they first jump in the water, it's going to be very uncomfortable. I'm never doing that again unless someone is honestly shooting at me. Paying me is not going to get me in the cold water. You're going to need to really try to kill me. So that's probably not going to happen. So here's the temperatures for swimmers, cold. Aquatic rehab and therapy takes place 91 to 93 degrees, which is the temperature of the surface of your skin. That's not a coincidence. And so it depends. If you're doing rehab, you're going to be up in that area. If you're doing, aquatic exercise and you're doing it hard, I'd probably go back to actually about where we keep this is about 89 degrees. I like that. Although I like warm. So if you like cold, you could always bring that down. I think that warm is better for muscles and better for injury prevention. In fact, I know it is. So, and it's also more fun and comfortable.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself, your cheeks are getting flushed, or you're just hot and you're really dry, you need to have your water in there, and you'll need to cool that down a little bit, okay? But I mean, ours is hot.
At home,
At home.
Yours at home.
So this one we keep at 89, and at home we're 95 degrees, and totally okay with it. So Ben Jr. does swim in there. He doesn't swim. He's not a crazy swimmer, but he does swim in there. And then, but at nighttime, when you're in there and coming out, if it's cool outside, you need that 95. Otherwise, it's gonna get cold if you're hanging out in there. So that's what we like. But it is subjective and it's up to each individual. But figure, mid 80s to 93 probably maximum, somewhere in there, depending on what you're doing. And of course, if you're swimming and you're swimming hard, scale that back. And I probably wouldn't want to go any warmer than we have this one, but we're not afraid to push that envelope because we hate the cold.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So this is from Shirley in Texas, and she asked, what exercises do you recommend for my Balance 9 spa? So just a little background, a Balance 9 is a hot tub.
A very large hot tub.
It is a large hot tub. However, it's not deep. So it's not really made for exercising. Unless you're doing some exercising, like if you're sitting, maybe you could do some kicking, and maybe some of those, like if you're sitting, you could do some like leg resistance exercises. There aren't really any attachments or anything to use resistance bands in that spa. It's really more made for just sitting and relaxing and getting the therapy from the jets. So I apologize that we can't be more helpful with that, but I guess it's
perhaps
kind of being a little bit more creative and
perhaps laying down scissor kicks.
I was just I mean that's it, just kind of like kicking your legs out in front of you, but it's just not deep enough to provide enough resistance for most
you certainly
of the
couldn't stand.
exercises.
You couldn't even if you were in the footwell. I don't think it would be deep enough if you were on your knees.
Right.
Although it is a big footwell, so that'd be the one to try if you wanted to try. All right, let's see. Let's go with this one. What exercises and equipment are beneficial for herniated disc in back? Matthew in California. So that again, that's a really broad brushstroke question, and one that I don't really want to answer so specifically. Although I can, obviously tell you, being in the water at all is going to reduce that herniated disc is all of our discs are smushing down, and they, once you start hitting a nerve, then you have pain, and then you have bulging discs and herniated discs, and where is it? Is it high? Is it low? Is it in the middle? You have all these factors, and that's where you're going to need to get with your therapist to see specific exercises to target that. Mm-hmm. But just being in the water, period, is always going to be your friend, because there's not, you're 70% more buoyant in the water when you're in a deep, based on height. So being in the water doing anything is always going to be better. But I would think all kinds of mobility exercises, without, all of the stuff that your dad does, all of the kickboard is all gonna, you wanna do some stretch movements, you wanna do some strengthening movements, but while not hurting anything worse. But something specific like that.
Yeah, you definitely want to.
Yeah, you want to involve your doctor and therapist. Okay, for sure. So, do you have another?
I'm done.
You're done. This is a good one. Could a stronger band be used without damaging the front bar? How strong of a band? So this is Brad in Ohio. So I'm going to take the camera here. Let's spin this around. So this is the bar he's talking about. And I mean, I've got my hand on there. I've got my feet, if you can see. and I am pulling on that thing. Rah! I pulled on that thing pretty hard. It did not come off. So they're on there. That is attached into the frame and it's not going anywhere. So you'd have to use one heck of a band to get that loose, I would think. I mean, I had both of my feet up and one of my arms on there, and I just pulled at probably...
Yeah.
I'm red from pulling. So maybe I put 80, 90% on there, and it didn't rip off. So I'm thinking they're on there pretty well. All right, so I have heard jokes before that you could tie a strap to that and drag the swim spa around on the pavement, although we do not want anyone to try that.
You shouldn't have even said that.
I could say that. We've heard those stories before, but don't try it, all right? I've seen some crazy stuff,
yes,
too.
You could do a strong band. The ones that, some of the ones that come with it are pretty strong, and
But they make some crazy,
yeah.
Like the thick black bands are crazy.
Okay, yeah.
But no, these swim spas are built, they're nasty. I have seen, and you cannot do this, a dealer put 4x4s across, perpendicular, like every 4 feet, and then fill it. And you're definitely not supposed to do that, but I've seen it, and I was horrified and was told they do it all the time, and it's not a problem, just for a demo, a quick demo situation.
Not for permanent
But they
install.
were 4 feet in between those boards. It wasn't every 2 feet or anything like that. So they're really strong. All right. So anyway, I think that's all we've got.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do it inside today because it is so hot outside.
Well, and there are thunderstorm warnings, so we just didn't want to be out in the swim spot in case it started thundering and lightning. So.
Right. And it's nice and air conditioned in here, and we've been hiding out in here this afternoon. Now it's time to go brave the heat. So I actually have an air conditioning dude coming over to fix the new system.
I already had mine over last
Oh,
week.
that's right. I forgot. They just did the whole thing. So anyway, that's it, everybody. You guys know we'll be in there tonight if you have questions.
Any questions?
I did see someone ask if they could ask questions email. You can put them on a message, on an instant message on Facebook, and just make sure you mark who it's to. We do get a tremendous amount of Facebook messages, so you definitely need to do that. And we may not always see them because there's so many, and we don't get notifications on every one. But someone will grab it and show it to us, as long as it's got our name up top, and we'll get back to you. Okay, for sure. So.
And then we will see you again in 2 weeks. It is Wednesday, July 14th.
Yep.
And we will be back for another Facebook Live then.
Right on. So everybody.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy
Enjoy
4th
your
of July.
weekend.
Actually, I was when we were picking topics, I'll have to take some pictures. We should do a live video of what it's like to have a swim spa at a party.
Take pictures.
That might be fun. So we've got a 4th party this weekend, and we will definitely be in there.
Hopefully it doesn't rain or anything.
Even if it skunks the water, I'll replace the water. That's part of the cost of having a party. Not a problem.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Happy 4th of July, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Be good.
Thank you.